Welcome to our digital channel, Digital Powerlift. Digital Powerlift is an endeavor of DGM partners to bring forth all aspects of business transformation concerning digital. We are all in a teaching moment, and we also understand that the adaptive and digital environments will be our future. This period has brought in the spotlight the need for innovative digital transformations and digital solutions at scale. This is a talk show series in which we will be bringing forth thought provoking talking points for discussion of digital environment post COVID-19 era. Our discussion today pertains to payments and, in particular, rethinking payments in a paperless world. Yes, we are talking about digital payments. One of the main digital transformation pertains to payments paving way to a paperless payment future. We have with us Manav Khurana, who is an expert in this domain. He shall talk us through the journey of digital payments. So, Manav, talk us through digital payments. What do they mean, and what importance do they have for us in India?
Thanks, Nidhi. So before we talk about digital payments, let's talk about digital and what that means and relevance in today's time. Digital is anything non-physical and does not require any contact to be established. If you look this up, this applies across multiple verticals, whether this is shopping, food, leisure, or travel. Each and every one of these verticals can be enabled digitally, and while the end user consumption remains physical, digital is the key enabler in all these cases. One thing that ties this together is payment. So anything you wish to consume needs to be settled, and digital payment allows you to do that. So digital payment is anything except cash. And if I keep India in context, this could mean bank account, debit or credit card, mobile wallets that are being offered by various financial and non-financial institutions today. I'd like to make a reference to a recent study by ASSOCHAM and PwC that talks about digital payments. So two pointers directly from them. Digital payments in India will more than double to 135 billion in 2023 from 64 billion this year. And India is expected to clock the fastest growth in digital payments transaction value between 2019 and 2023 with compounded annual growth rate of 20%. So if you look at the situation today, which is COVID era, due to lockdown, people were not able to leave their homes to buy essentials. And digital payments gave them the option of transacting from the safety of their home. And even now, when the lockdown is being lifted, people are still very reluctant to move out. They have realized the convenience that digital payments can offer. The COVID pandemic and the way of life, unfortunately, ill with the new norm, people would be cautious in stepping out. And what we feel is digital payments will enable for a safe, convenient, and a seamless experience for the consumers.
As an extension to the earlier question, when we talk about digital payments, a term commonly referenced is digital or mobile wallets. Can you explain what they are and how they tie into digital payments?
Digital wallets, in simple term, are applications on your smartphone that hold your payment details that you can use to pay. Think of this as a physical wallet that customers carry, but instead of this being physical, it is digital. Like your wallet carry many types of card, whether it's a debit or a credit card, these digital wallets carry the same, but in a non-physical manner. So the most prominent wallets in India today are Paytm, PhonePe, Google Pay, besides bank having their own wallets as well. These digital wallets enable you to, one, store your bank account, debit or credit card in a very simple and secure manner in their application. And second, they also enable multiple use cases for you. So whether it's paying a friend, paying a seller, recharging your phone, paying for bills, buying a movie ticket, paying for Ola or Uber, everything can be done using one of these apps. So the convenience they offer is, one, you don't need to carry cash, and then that in turn takes away the hassle of you having to pay cash, collect cash, and keep it. Secondly, they also offer you gratification. So there is some sort of loyalty incentive for you to keep using these apps. This could be in form of a cashback, which means a percentage of what you've purchased is refunded back to you, which you can use later, or you can earn loyalty points that can be redeemed at a later point. An important reference I want to make with digital wallets is one of the key reasons why digital wallets are getting a lot of traction in India, especially in tier 1 and tier 2 cities, is because there's a rising boom of e-commerce industry. And secondly, that we have an increased and an easy accessibility of smartphones in this country. So just linking this back to a report from Research and Markets, digital wallets are driving e-commerce industry in India, and the Indian e-commerce industry is expected to grow at about 40% over the next 5 years. Such high growth of e-commerce segment is fueling the development of mobile wallet market in India. So this is a quotation from the research. Secondly, availability of smartphone is expected to propel growth of Indian mobile internet industry, both in urban and rural markets. Expansion in usage of smartphones and mobile internet will enable high use of mobile wallets across the country. So, just wrapping up on digital wallets, digital instruments enables you to pay anything and everything, and you can essentially use any form of payment except cash to settle the transaction. Next.
What, in your opinion, will drive digital payments in this market? I mean, cash is a popular choice of payments and is easy and convenient. So, why the need for either the customers to pay digitally or for the sellers to accept this other than cash?
No doubt, cash is the most popular means of method in India and has been for many, many years. But a large part of the problem has been existence of parallel economy, which has encouraged the use of cash. The government has and continues to take bold steps in curbing this parallel economy, earlier through demonetization and now through promoting digital payments in India. Introduction of RuPay, UPI, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana accounts are laudable efforts and a stepping stone in driving the agenda. We now also see curbs being put in place for Chinese apps, and the focus is on promoting India only apps and the overarching intent of Atmanirbhar India. While there's still a lot to be achieved, the steps taken have been progressive, encouraging in the right direction, and we've started to see some results. So, if I make reference to the RBI data, and RBI stands for Reserve Bank of India, whilst cash still constitutes around 70% of purchase, but digital payments are growing at a rate of 60%. Phenomenal. I think it is important to remember that digital payments offer convenience, transparency, accountability to both buyers and sellers and contribute in the overall economic growth of India. One of the areas, though, that still needs to be addressed is the pricing parity, especially for sellers who are accepting this and still gets confused with the fact that cash is free. Cash does carry cost, which includes the handling cost, depositing into the bank account, and overall resulting in ineffective use of time. Once the pricing for digital payments is aligned and made commercially attractive to the sellers, then we are bound to see a lot of traction happening in this market.
We keep hearing that digital payments are growing at a very fast rate. Could you help us understand factors that are contributing to this? You alluded to this in your comments earlier, and if you can elaborate on the key reasons, please.
I would say there are six key factors that are driving this, and some of the ones I have been alluding in our earlier discussions. So these are government. The current government is genuinely invested in driving the digital agenda, and we have seen number of interventions over the period of last 5 years. So these include favorable price economics, expanding payment options such as QR code and IMPS, granting payment banking licenses to reach last mile connectivity, and making sure that banking is available to anyone and everyone. Lastly, we have seen homegrown payment networks getting accelerated. This is RuPay and the vision of becoming Atmanirbhar. The second point would be e-commerce. As the fastest growing e-commerce market in the world, India had over 50 million online shoppers in 2018. This opportunity has largely been in tier 1 and 2 cities, where a majority of 500 to 600 middle income Indians reside. But having said that, we are also starting to see smaller towns getting comfortable with the idea of digital purchases and payments. And while this is somewhat instigated by demonetization and COVID, but given the experience being largely seamless, there is inclination in keep using that. The third one would be millennials. Now, these are people under the age of 30 years of age. They look for convenience, flexibility, have been challenging the norms, and front runners in embracing newer experiences. The next one in my mind is technology. That would be in the erstwhile days, we used to have banks only. But now we have a number of private players bringing in solutions. Some are going solo, some are doing partnerships with governments and banks. There is intense competition out there, and the differentiator here is ease of using solutions and customer experience. The next one that comes to mind is infrastructure, which is availability of point of sale terminals. That is the terminal through which you swipe your card to pay for your transaction. They have exponentially increased over last 5 to 7 years. Now, if you look at the number of point of sale terminals, they're growing at about 30% year on year. If I go back 2015 to right to where we are right now, the government is making sure that this is made available to all sellers so that they can easily accept the payments from buyers. And lastly would be digital wallets. This is something I've touched earlier as well. There are plethora of wallets in the market, and while some have consolidated or disappeared, the prominent ones will continue to stay, and these would be Paytm, PhonePe, Google Pay, and likely. There are partnerships being stitched between them, banks and payment schemes, which means that customer using the wallet will not only get a seamless experience, but an enriching one as well. Banks and fintech companies offer attractive cashback offers to their consumers, and the customers can get enjoy rewards both from bank and from the fintech company. So that's been a key driver as well. So these are six factors that is really driving the growth of digital payments in our market.
Can such payments also be made outside India, or is this very much meant for India? We keep hearing the term cross border payments. Can you please provide your perspective on this?
Absolutely. And if you look at cross border flows, these have mostly been digital. These used to be business purchases with importers buying goods from outside countries and settling via bank and other means. Now we also see this getting very prominent in travel and e-commerce vertical. And the factors driving this is India's strong economic growth, rise in disposable income, and growing middle class. According to an M-commerce report by PayPal, 1 in 2 mobile shoppers are spending for cross-border purchases. Around half of the shopping is done on US-based e-commerce sites, and the rest comes from UK and China. Then we also have the likes of Amazon and Walmart-based Flipkart bringing overseas brands to consumers in India. The reason why this has been very successful is the price point and quality. These sellers have been selling at lower prices, delivering good quality on many consumer goods. And for a price conscious Indian buyer, that's been a major factor. So, yes, cross border payments are digital, and we would expect to see phenomenal growth in years to come.
From paying the local Kiryana wala to paying monthly rentals, the younger generation today prefer digital payments across a wide spectrum of the uses and have given up on that constant of yesteryears, cash. Digital payments landscape is definitely being driven by compelling value propositions, conducive infrastructure, supportive regulations, and next generation technologies, along with the current COVID 19 scenario. Thank you, Manav, for a very insightful info on future payments, and thank you all for listening us. Do like, share, and subscribe to listen to us in our future episodes of Digital Powerlift. We would love to have your valuable feedback, any topic which you would like to be discussed. If you have any questions, feedback, or comments, please email us at info@dgmpartners.com, WhatsApp us at 8595671540, or refer our website dgmpartners.com. Thank you.